The days pass, and with each passing day, I get considerably better at my job. I memorize the faces and put the names with them. I learn who has a yearly membership, who buys a 10-class card, a monthly, pays as they go, who tries to sneak in without paying. Sitting behind the front desk, I observe the famous and not so famous sign in for class. Everyone from James Taylor, Sigourney Weaver, Stockard Channing, the infamous Sidney Biddle Barrows of Mayflower Madam fame. We have television producers stepping out of black sedans and high-class call girls entering in furs. And then there's Shirley. She's far from glamorous or famous. She's rather pudgy, unattractive woman, short, frizzy red hair, always late, always rushing in, talking on her phone, laden down with bags of stuff. Tonight, she hands Roberta two filled to overflowing grocery bags from Fairway. Roberta's scowl turns into a massive grin as she gushes, "Oh, hi, Shirley." She gleefully stashes the Fairway bags behind her seat. "Thank you so much." Shirley then hands her a Godiva chocolate bag. "These are for Phil." Then she hands a white paper bag to another one of the desk staff and announces assorted muffins, blueberry, cranberry, carrot, and bran. I watch with curiosity as Shirley doles out her gifts, initials her permanent spot, number 37, and scurries into class. Spot 37 is located in the back row by the coat rack. It's the worst spot in class. But no matter, because Shirley, well, when Shirley works out, if you can call it that, she sort of walks and plays, and every so often she does some stretches. Yeah, Shirley is also the only person I know who owns a cell phone. Well, back in the day, they were called cordless. We're talking 1991. It's the size of a brick and probably weighs more. I figure she must have some high-powered, important job where she makes a lot of money. She has a yearly membership. I'm a little in awe of Shirley because not too long ago, I also had a yearly membership and was treated with respect. When I entered the studio, everyone smiled, waved, called me by my name, even Roberta. These days, working behind the front desk, I wonder, how am I going to pay my rent? After class, Shirley always stops by the front desk to chat. She's super friendly to me and without fail gives me a big grin that reveals a few missing teeth. Today, like many other days, she asks, "Jill, is there anything I can get you? Anything at all?" And I reply like I always reply, "No, no, no, nothing. Thanks so much. I'm fine." I'm anything but fine. I'm working part-time, making $12 an hour, barely able to eat, let alone pay my rent. Not too long ago, I was making 70K a year working part-time at Color Direction. But being the codependent I am, I put my life and my acting on hold for 4 years to put my soon-to-be ex-husband, Henry, through law school. Call me crazy. I was under the mistaken impression we were building a future together. I worked my ass off because I was afraid if I didn't, we'd be homeless. And out of that fear, I took my passion, drive, and anger and built Color Direction into the country's #1 color forecasting business. And after 5 years of working like a dog, I began making lots of money. And the minute Henry passed the bar, they fired me for making all that money. Then my mother unexpectedly died of lung cancer. I was devastated. And to add insult to injury, Henry left me for the glitter of Hollywood to become a motion picture producer. He promised to send me $700 a month to pay my rent. That money is sporadic at best and currently non-existent. Just thinking about my current situation causes me tremendous anxiety. But I catch myself because when things get really tight, there's always my trusted Visa with its $20,000 credit limit and super high interest predatory checks. I've used those checks more than once to pay my rent. I'm barely hanging on, but I can't imagine taking stuff from Shirley. It feels weird, and according to my Southern upbringing, tawdry. But as time passes, I find my resistance, like my diminishing income, waning. That's why one day, when Shirley approached me for the umpteenth time, "Jill, you're sure there isn't anything I can get you? Something you need or want or anything at all?" To my horror, I blurted out, "Black high-top Reebok, size 9.5. My face flushed red with shame. The next day, true to her word, Shirley appears like my personal fairy godmother, grinning like the cat that swallowed the canary, holding up a footlocker bag for all to see, and announced, "Here you go, black high-top Reebok, size 9.5. Oh my God, I'm mortified. I want to disappear. I'm such a failure. Oh, I've had to resort to taking contraband from Shirley. I take the footlocker bag and stash it in the counter in front of me. I can't look her in the eye. Wow. Thanks, Shirley. I really appreciate this. I wonder, who is this woman? What's her deal?" One evening after class, Shirley stopped by the front desk and began chatting with Roberta. "Yeah, my dad's a diplomat. You'd never know it. He's more like Ebenezer Scrooge. Stingy, stingy, stingy. Seriously, he reuses his tea bags like a dozen times." Now, I'm sure that's an exaggeration, but this tidbit gives me an insight into her character. I surmise Shirley's trying to distance herself from her father's chintzy behavior by proving to herself and others she's anything but stingy. She's generous to a fault. One evening after taking class, Shirley approaches me. "Jill, you have a terrific voice. You'd be great at what I do." "Thanks so much. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in a sample script for you to read while I'm in class, and you can let me know what you think." "That sounds fantastic. Sure. Thanks so much for thinking of me." My mind is flying, spinning, jumping with anticipation. Voiceovers. Shirley must be talking about voiceovers. I've always been told I have a unique voice. Yes, voiceovers. They pay well. They could help me pay my rent. This is a miracle. I watch Shirley as out the door and down the spiral stairs she goes. Voiceovers. This is a godsend. Voiceovers could be the answer to all my prayers. It all makes sense now. She's some high-powered producer or works for one of the top ad agencies or voiceover houses. No wonder she has a cordless. Nobody has a cordless. The next day, Shirley, late for class as usual, rushes in talking on her gigantic phone with the 4-foot antenna, which, if she turns too quickly, could impale someone. True to her word, drops a script in front of me. "Take a look. I'll check back after class." Off she dashes to her reserved number 37 worst spot in the studio. After I've checked in the class and everyone's accounted for, I gaze down at the white blank cover. Here, before me, is my future. No more struggling. I'll be a successful voiceover person. I steady myself, open the cover, and begin reading. Oh, baby, baby, your cock is so big and so hard, and I slam the cover shut. Holy shit! There must be some mistake. I discreetly peek around to make sure no one is watching. I reopen to a random page. I'm so wet, I want to. I slam the cover shut. Are you kidding me? Roberta lifts her head from the cash register, turns her enormous, suspicious dark eyes on me. What is that? What are you doing? Nothing. Okay. Doesn't look like nothing to me, but whatever. She goes back to counting the mounds of cash. After class, Shirley makes a beeline for the front desk. All smiles, her face flushed with sweat and anticipation. Well, what you think? I find myself distracted by Shirley's dazzling smile with her missing teeth, and I feel anger. I wanna grab her and scream, hey, wake up. You've got money. Stop spending it on the desk staff and get your damn teeth fixed. Instead, I hand her the script. A script that held so much promise turns out to be another broken vow. Uh, thanks, Shirley. Thanks so much. It's not for me. Jill, I'm telling you, you'd be great. You make your own hours. The money's great. You can do it anytime, anywhere. You can take your phone to the beach, lay in the sun while you do it. I'm starving on my 20 hours a week, $12 an hour job. I need the money, but I'd apply for food stamps before I do this. Okay, but if you get tired of starving, money's great. You'd be great. I'm telling you, great, great, great. And she's out the door. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Roberta unwraps one of the oversized double chocolate cupcakes Shirley brought and begins devouring it. My stomach growls as I sip my water. Gripped with fear, I wonder, what's to become of me? I've been left destitute after 14 years of marriage. My so-called acting career is non-existent. I lost all my contacts, my agent. On top of that, I'm 40 years old. I might as well get a shovel and dig my own grave. Yep, it's official. I'm going to end up wandering the streets, living in a cardboard box. But wait, there's always those predatory checks. I smile and go back to counting the number of clients in the class. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so just so you know, this is a different day when I'm recording this part of the video, and I'm dressed the same due to continuity, except it's so hot in my apartment that I took the sweater off because I don't have any control over the heat in my apartment. I can open the windows or I can close the windows because this is a pre-war building built in 1892, so it's steam heat, comes out of the radiators, and that's the way it goes. So, before I do the questions, I wanted to do a little side note about Roberta. because, she was always such a biatch to me every single night, no matter what. And so one night I said to her, "Why are you being such a bitch to me?" Although I don't think I used the B word because at that time that was a very inappropriate thing to say. So I probably said, "Why are you being so mean to me, Roberta? What have I ever done to you?" After that, it changed everything. That one statement changed everything. She became like my BFF. She would bring me gifts. She brought me a set of sheets, Ralph Lauren sheets for my bed. They were the Charlotte pattern, which were gorgeous. And well, I later sold them on eBay for good money. So I just wanted to let you know that because that was one of the ways I could survive there was because then she became my ally as opposed to an adversary. Very important. Here's the questions. Okay. Did I ever get alimony from Henry? Well, that's a complex question because I got a payout is what I got. I didn't really ever get alimony, but there'll be a whole chapter on that because I had to fight tooth and nail to get anything, but in the end, I did. Persistence, baby. Next question. Oh, someone asked me about Claudia Schiffer, who did Blown Sideways Through Life, which was this hilarious, wonderful. It was a solo play. It was in 1993. It was done at the New York Theater Workshop. That's where she developed it. And I went to see the play and I loved it. I thought it was so clever and so great. And she was great. And it was all about her crazy jobs that she had had, like answering phones in a brothel and all sorts of crazy things. Then here's the kicker. In 1990, I guess 1994, because the movie was released in 95. So in 1994, she was going to do, or she was doing the movie version of her play. So a friend of mine asked me if they could use my apartment as her dressing room because they were shooting in Central Park, right over here at the Belvedere Castle. So I said, sure. I had just had my apartment repainted. It looked gorgeous. Now, at this time, I was doing stand-up comedy, so I was out really late. So I told my friend, you just knock on the door, I'll let you in. I'll go back to sleep, I'll close my bedroom door, and you guys just leave. You don't have to lock the door or anything. Knock on the door. I went and answered the door, and there she was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you can use my apartment. I loved your show. You were amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going back to bed. Everything is yours, kitchen, bathroom, whatever you need, and have a great shoot. Okay, thank you. And that was my Claudia Schiffer story. Someone wanted to know, did I remarry? No. Honestly, once was enough. I really, I'm such an independent person. I don't like being controlled. I don't like the old women are supposed to cook and this and that. No, 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 not interested. I did have a proposal of marriage from a much younger man. I said to him, look, I just got rid of one bad husband. I don't need another one. I think he was a little offended by that comment, but such is life. All right. Have I been told I look like Annette Bening? Yes, I have. In fact, this one casting director that I met with said, oh, yes. Do people tell you you look like Annette Bening? I said, yeah, they do. I'm putting you in my Annette Bening file. So, yeah, there's so many actresses, right? They can just stuff you into the Annette Bening file, and anytime they need someone similar, they just go through headshots. I mean, this was several years ago. All right, people ask me about writing a book. Okay, look, I wrote a book and then I took it down. It was on Amazon. I self-published it. I took it down because during COVID, I was writing stories and submitting them to different places, and all my stories got published in literary magazines and books and things. And then I was approached by two New York literary agents, and they said, "Oh, we love your writing. You're so funny. Your voice is so great. We'd love for you to write a book for us." And I said, "Well, okay, what should the book be about?" And they said, "Oh, um, anything you want it to be about." I said, "Okay." So I wrote a book, and then it took me 2 years. I sent it to them. They did not read the book because it's nonfiction. It's a memoir, which is what the story was that they read, that they raved about. It was one of my stories about my life, my acting life. I sent it to them and they said, if you don't hear from us in 6 months, well, I didn't. 7 months, 8 months, I finally contacted them. I still don't hear. I still don't hear. And then they wrote back and they said, well, we've decided, yeah, we're not gonna publish your book. We went back and forth, back and forth. We couldn't decide, but we decided no. These stories that I tell here were in that book. I do rework them because you're not reading it. I'm telling you the story. So I do make changes, but that's the deal with the book. And I may do another one. I don't know. All right. Someone asked me about why don't I do voiceover work? I have done voiceover work. I like doing voiceover work because you can be as old as dirt. You don't have to do hair and makeup. It's just you and your voice. And I actually love that. But voiceover work in New York City, like everything, is very compartmentalized. It's very competitive. It's a closed shop and it's very hard to get into. And if you want to get into it, you got to put all your time and energy into doing that, into getting an agent, into doing your voiceover reel, into blah 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 blah. So yeah, the voiceover work that I get is always because, like I used to do voiceovers for the soaps because I worked on the soaps and then they'd call me and say, Jill, come in, do a voiceover for us. So I would. It was great. And the money's great and all that, but yeah, voiceover work. All right. So I think that's all the questions for today. Oh yeah. I wanted to thank all my new subscribers, my regular subscribers, everybody who is here every week. It really means a lot to me. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, share any of my videos because I want the channel to grow, but it's kind of hit a leave your comments. I love your comments. Tell me about your crazy jobs, crazy job offers. Yeah, anything like that. And let's have a little coffee here. Delicious. So I want to give a special shout out to everyone who bought me a coffee, or a special thanks. I am so grateful for your support of my channel. It really helps out a lot. So I want to thank Susan P., JD Page 3292, and Lisa D. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, you guys. And I will see you next week. Although I do have a dental appointment. I had a root canal. I have to have a new crown. But I'm going to do the next video. I'm going to do it before the dental work, just to make sure. All right. Anyway, you guys, I love you. Stay calm. And I will see you next week. Mwah! Bye, you guys. Love you.